Hello, adventurer. It's good to see you. You have made it to the morning grind.
Welcome, welcome.
It's the live stream at the beginning of the Geekverse, where we talk about all types of topics in geekdom, gaming, and fantasy, with an emphasis on being constructive and creating the things that we want to exist in the world.
It's all on the grind, Sizemore. Can't be too fine, can't be too coarse.
That's exactly right. There are a lot of adventures to be had today. Dungeons to explore and monsters to slay, and who knows what a random encounter might send our way. That's why we have to prepare, so settle in now for the morning grind with your favorite beverage in hand.
Tea? Or maybe something a little stronger. I've got a few bottles of the old Wynyard left.
Whatever you want. Pull up a chair.
Dude.
If you're feeling fancy, how about a cappuccino? Or a frappuccino? Or how about an espresso?
Just tea, thank you.
Sounds good to me, Gandalf. Whatever you want. I'm just glad you're here.
Everyone is welcome. You can just watch if you want. You don't have to worship anything you don't want to worship.
Thank you, Mike. But be forewarned.
Sometimes we get really strange characters around here.
Wait, what's that you say? Why can't you come and be a part of the stream?
My wife would disown me.
Oh no, I bet she'll be fine with it. Come on in.
Am I scared for my safety? No.
What are we supposed to do?
Everybody do the secret handshake.
Secret cultist handshake.
Oh, now do wizards who love each other.
This, my friend, is a science.
I still don't have gifts, but it's fine.
It's all on the grind, son. Can't be too fine, can't be too coarse.
Dude, this would be a sick place to bring the band.
Indeed it would be, Dave. It really would. I'm seeing more people coming in. Welcome, glad to have you here. Oh, look, here's someone new.
Is this the cultist meetup?
Yes it is.
Come to hang out? Please accept me. I have nothing else.
Okay, we accept you. Everyone's welcome here.
Brought some snacks.
Well, that makes things even better.
You want some coffee? I don't drink coffee. You sure? It's cultist coffee. What makes it cultist coffee? I'm a cultist and I'm drinking it. Oh. Then I'll have some.
What exactly is going on here?
I'm seeing more people coming in. Welcome. It's so great to have you. Oh, and look, here comes another stranger.
Can we help you?
Yes, fellow cultists. I could really use some food.
Oh yeah? Welcome. We have donuts.
Oh, it's me. I'm glad I'm here. I'm sure you have a few questions for me, though.
What's your name? Who do you work for? What god do you worship?
Great questions, Rob.
I'm Steve King, and I worship Nyarlathotep.
No, not really. I'm just Heath, and I won't be worshiping anything this morning. But I will be your host. Welcome to the office. We're going to have a great time. I've got my coffee ready, because now it's time for the morning grind.
If you could become a fish, that would be amazing. Then I could command you with my mental fish powers.
Hey, good morning, everyone. Good morning. Welcome to the office. Welcome to the morning grind. It is a good day today for me. I hope it is for you as well. I'm late here, but it's because I was getting work done yesterday. It's been struggling, I feel like, to get work done over the past month and a half. Well, last night I finally got sort of had kind of a breakthrough. Been working on writing last night. Was working on writing scripts. Was working on the RPG writing. Was also working on, what was the other thing I was working on? Oh yeah, putting together Kickstarter stuff. I'm still waiting on some books here to come by. This is a holiday, so I'm not sure if the books are going to show up or not. I've got 2 packages that it says are supposed to show up on Monday, which is today, but it's a holiday here in the U.S. But who knows? Maybe when I'm done with the morning grind, they will be here, but who knows? We will see. Otherwise, maybe it's tomorrow. So we will see. So that's been going well. So yesterday went well, or yesterday, starting at about, say, 4 o'clock, started going well. Started getting this place cleaned up around here as well. So started getting enthusiasm and energy back yesterday about 4 o'clock. Woke up this morning early and was working on the scripts, the Rabavania scripts this morning. So I was getting some energy, and then took a little bit of a nap before this all started. So this is so I said that what I would do is I was going to hold the Rivers of London solo play, because this is the Rivers of London book. We didn't know, I didn't know anything about the Rivers of London story or anything like that. But there is a solo play in here, and of course this is based on basic fantasy. If you're seeing here, I was trying to get one of the contacts in, and it was not really working. But I think that feels good now. But that's what that is. The so I was going to save that though until I was kind of celebrating having woken up and gotten work done like I was supposed to, and I did today. So this is based on the Call of Cthulhu system, the basic role playing. A basic role-playing system by Chaosium. This is by Chaosium anyway. And Chaosium did send this to me for review. Let me see. It says the internet's kind of struggling over here. So, let's see if that clears up here in just a moment. But this is by Chaosium. They did send this to me for a review, so we looked at it one day. But it does have a solo adventure in it, which looked rather extensive, like learn to play solo adventure. It looked rather extensive, and so I wanted to save it for the right morning. So let's get into it and figure out how to play with a solo adventure. Let's see who all is here. James is here. Good morning. Good morning. And Tomocrat. Zero the Blade is here. Good morning, Sable Phoenix. Good morning, Draco. And Mike Hansford says, good morning, grinders. Breathe and sip. Today is a no rocks day. No rocks day. Well, I got water on the rocks here. I need water. I need to drink water. I'm back in a situation where I got to lose weight. So we'll see. But here we go. Actually, but thank you for the reminder, Mike. Let's go ahead and breathe and sip. I've got water this morning. Ice water. Let's breathe and sip. 2 deep breaths, complete inhales, complete exhales, and then take a sip of your favorite beverage this morning. So here we go. Ah, that's good. So, PH, good morning, PH, and Stargate Mind, and Micah. Tomocrat says, I saw the Season 2 Cultist stream. Poor Steve. Yeah, I play Steve, and Steve has a hard time of it in Season 2. He really does. Desist Dawdling is here. Yeah, I know. Well, and for some reason, I was trying really hard to. James says, rule number 1 of being a writer, write. But for some reason, I was having a hard time. Yeah, see, I thought that it had started being treated as an official holiday too. So we'll just have to see. I don't know. All right. So let's go over here. Let me get the auxiliary camera up. Go auxiliary camera. Oh. We'll see what I need to play this game. Auxiliary camera. Go. Oh, there we go. Okay. Auxiliary camera. All right. So here is the Rivers of London. By the way, I looked yesterday. I was trying to finish some bases, to make some bases for my Kings of War guys. And I made some bases, and they're sitting in there, and they warped. I got these bases cut from Litco. I want them to be based nicely because I spent so much time trying to get my Kings of War army painted up, and I painted up. I finished my crossbowmen, but the last step is basically to cut these guys off the bases, which they were able to cut off these bases so I can multi-base them. And I got these nice thick bases cut from Litco, and then I did some of them a couple of nights ago, and they warped. They were too wet. It was too much stuff, and they warped. So I used another strategy to try to come up. I really wanted to be flat. They warped a little bit, but it's just the miniatures are too nice to put on a warped base. They need to be on a real flat base. So I redid them, and I really like the way that this came out. You may not be able to tell too much here. Oh, there we go. A little bit more of the texture here, because I wanted to put a sand texture on them, and I want to flock some of them, flock some areas of them, not the entire area, but I'm going to put some flock on there for grass, and then put the miniatures and then put static grass. But I think that finally came out pretty good. And I used Super 77 spray adhesive, so that way I wasn't putting a bunch of moisture. There's very low moisture or no moisture, but probably very low moisture in Super 77. So that's what I should have used instead of white glue, and kept my bases flat. The what did I use to paint these? I used just spray paint. So what I did was I took the Super 77 and see, now one thing I should have done was I should have spray painted these boards before I put the Super 77 on it, because I'm going to have to touch up a few places where I've knocked off, where some of the texture didn't quite stick. I don't think it's going to be a big deal, especially once the miniatures get on there, but I'm going to do a little bit of touch up here. But what I should have done was paint these boards with a dark brown spray paint first. And I don't think I had any at the time. I went and picked some up yesterday. But I should have hit this with dark brown spray paint first. So that'll be the procedure. Then hit the Super 77, cover in Super 77, and then use the, I've got a box here of sand and grit and ballast and stuff like that for just table stuff. So basically sand and stuff. Put that on top of it, the sand on top of it. Hit it with the Super 77 again to hopefully try to get it to stick a little bit better after I've shaken off all of the sand. And then I hit this with a combination, covered it in tan spray paint. So I had a very light brown spray paint, and then went around it with a dark brown spray paint. And I really like that. The only thing I wish they had done was remember to spray paint the tiles first. But I was trying to make sure that there was as little moisture as possible so they stay flat. Last Phoenix says, Kings of War, is that brand-free Warhammer Fantasy Rules? It's not brand-free. It's I guess the book is sitting in there in the kitchen. Because it's done by Mantic. It's done by Mantic. I'm going to try that, Mike. Paint the backside and let them dry. Should pull out the warp. You can alternatively, you can white glue on the back and let it dry. Acts as a non-slip surface. I'm going to try to pull out the warp on some of them. Some of them aren't very bad at all. Some of them are a little bit worse because the grain runs different ways. And some, I guess, because when they're trying to line up all of these bases to be cut, they line them up with the grain going different ways. And I didn't think about that. All right. So let's get into this then. So the Rivers of London role-playing game. If you don't know, and I did not, like I said, Chaosium did send this to me, but this is a magical setting. Well, about police in London that are part of a special task force in London. Officers of the, now I believe that, is that the Folly? I was saying Foley, and I thought, oh, that's probably what it is. But then again, there's no E here. So in London, it says, magic has returned to our world. In London, officers of the Folly, the Metropolitan Police Service's special magic branch, take to the streets to solve cases, catch criminals, and come to grips with the demimonde, those who have been irreversibly changed by magic. So we're magical police force trying to combat magic. So let's see. Where is Welcome to London, the bookshop. It may be the bookshop that is the solo play. 128. No, 285. This says this introduction. So the bookshop, this case file, was really that 17? No. This does actually say that it is for 1 to 4 investigators. So this one could be solo. But I don't know if that's actually solo or not, because there might be a GM and one investigator. I thought that there was something in here that, yeah, right here. This is what I'm looking for. This is like our choose your own adventure style right here. So this is the domestic, adapted from a short story by Ben Aronovich, who is the author of the Rivers of London books. Okay. So it says start here. This short introductory adventure aims to teach you the basics of the Rivers of London, the role-playing game. You don't need to read all the rules before you begin. And if you've already read Ben's story called The Domestic, don't worry. We've added in some extra material with Ben's permission to give it a few new twists and turns. One important note before you dive in, don't read the text from start to finish. In a solo adventure like this, you read one numbered section, an entry at a time, and follow the instructions at the end to see what to read next. Sometimes you'll have to roll dice to see if you succeed or fail. Don't be tempted to cheat with these rolls. You won't necessarily have more fun if you always succeed. And once you're finished, you can always go back to the beginning and try a different path and see what would happen to you if you made different choices. At the end of each entry, you will find a number in parentheses. These are trace numbers that show which entries will have led you here. Meaning you can, at the end of each entry, you will find a number in parentheses. These are trace numbers that show which entries have led you there, meaning you can backtrack if you need to. Oh, that's interesting. I haven't ever seen that before. Still, Mongoose, you're currently a psychic nurse? Oh, psych nurse. Okay. That's different. Gather the following: a blank character sheet, copy the one from this book, or download one from chaosium.com, a pencil and eraser, and 2 10-sided percentile dice. Or you can use a... Okay, so wait a minute. Let me get my dice over here. Let's see. We'll use the green Cthulhu dice. Blank character sheet, a pencil and eraser, 2 percentile dice. I guess I'll have to print one of these. Yeah, Sable Phoenix says, okay, that's one of the best things I've seen in Choose Your Own Adventure format, because you always lose track of the page that sent you to the one you're currently on. Or everybody's got like a bunch of fingers stuck in the book everywhere going, okay, now this is where I was, this is where I was. I want to try writing an adventure. This kind of Choose Your Own Adventure style like that, so that you can do solo play like this. Let's see, Chaosium, Rivers of London. It doesn't say that I'm supposed to have a pre-made character. It just says a blank character sheet. London blank character sheet. Rivers of London blank character sheet pack. Oh, because there were different types of character sheets. Well, okay, whatever. Let's just print this character sheet pack. Have it ready to go. So what else we say? All right. Does this cover all the rules? No, but this solo case file does introduce you to almost all the game's key concepts. Please print. Such as characteristics, skills, values, and luck. We've simplified combat damage and magic to smooth the play experience for you, though. We decided that if this is your first experience of a role-playing game, we'd want to throw everything at you at once. Instead, this adventure gets you familiar with some of the game's terms and basic mechanics. Okay. Let's see. All right. Oh, okay. This actually is going to have you create a character over here. So it says the 20-mile-per-hour speed limit makes it very easy to read the doors as you drive your Ford Escort east on Prince of Wales Road. There we go. The house numbers count down along a mishmash of terraces interrupted only by the pillared front of a former Methodist chapel, now a contemporary art center with the obligatory cafe and gift shop. You find what you're looking for in the low hundreds, and by some miracle, there's a parking space just opposite, just wide enough for your car. Safely wedged into the parking space, you take a minute to review the report. Verbal disagreements in the basement flat, 3 nights in a row. 2 voices heard, getting louder each time, culminating on the 3rd night in an almighty crash that prompted a 999 emergency services call from the couple upstairs, the Romanian students next door, and a cyclist delivering curry who was startled enough to drop his bag over the railing, ending up with an unholy amalgam of tikka malta, korma, and sag aloo. I guess that I have no idea. The responding officers found signs of a struggle, but no other persons on the premises. You step from the car to see an unsympathetic-looking woman wearing a high-vis safety jacket, a peaked cap, and an acid perm. She's a civil enforcement officer, otherwise known as a parking warden. She notes down your car's registration number. You begin with the following common skills: athletics, drive, navigate, observe, read person, research, social, and stealth. You also have 3 combat skills: fighting and firearms. All of these skills begin with a value of 30. Write the number 30 on your character sheet in the first space beside each of these skill names. I hit print. Maybe just have to write it down. Let's just come to think of it, I wasn't able to print some the other day, so I'm gonna have to figure out how to reconnect to my printer. Okay, so athletics 30. Drive 30. Navigate 30. Observation 30. Read person 30. Research 30. Social and stealth. I also have fighting and firearms. Fighting 30, firearms 30. Okay, now you decide what your job is. If you're a police officer, go to 9. If you're a social worker, go to 42. If you're a nurse, go to 72. Let's be a police officer, so let's go to 9. You show your warrant card to the parking warden. She grimaces. It's understandable. Working as she does for the parking operations team, POOT, P-O-O-T, the parking operations team, formerly with parking services operations team. Before that, it was the parking services enforcement team. She eyes your plain clothes and the Ford Escort. Are you on official business? She asks, stylus pointing above her battered handheld computer, desperately holding on to the fraying threads of her authority. I just smeared something over here on the book. You are a police officer attached to the Folly. Note down police officer as your occupation. Police officer. You have the expert skills of law, 60, and magic, 60. Write those skills and their starting values of 60 down in the space for your expert skills on your character sheet. Now choose 4 of your common skills and raise them from 30 to 60. Your starting skills are now ready. Okay, choose 4 of my skills over here. Let's go read person. That seems useful. Let's make that one 60. Let's go stealth 60. Observation, 60. And social, 60. Desperately hanging on to the fraying threads of her authority. That's a great sentence, Sable Phoenix says. Sounds like the next hit superhero series. Steel Mongoose, Psychic Nurse. Yeah. I like that. Okay, so I got my skills ready. Finally, roll your 10-sided traits unit die twice, usually written as 2d10, and add the result to 50. This is your starting luck. All right, starting luck. Roll your 10-sided units dice and add the result to 50. So if you roll a 3 and an 8, your luck will be 3 plus 8 plus 50. I got 6 and 2, 8. So I've got okay, so no, that works. So I have a starting luck of 58. Okay, note down your starting luck and current luck in the space provided. For the moment, those numbers are both the same. Oh, note down starting luck and current luck. So luck 58. So I've got 58 of 58. Go to 17. So it does have a number down here in parentheses which says 1. So that's how I got here. So go to 17. You tell the parking warden that you're on official business. And ask if she's often in this area late in the evening. Disappointed, she jabs her stylus at a small notice on a pole across the road that says permit holders only after 11 p.m. So she replies, so yes. She asks if she has noticed, you ask if she has noticed any recent disturbances. You're going to make a luck roll. Roll 2 10-sided dice again. This time, use both your 10s and unit dice. All right, so there we go right there. This will give you the number between 0 and 100. So if the 10s comes up 70 and the unit comes up 6, you have rolled a 76. A 000 means 100. This is known as rolling D100 and is the most common roll in this the Rivers of London play. Compare what you rolled to your current luck value. If you rolled the same as your current luck, then you've succeeded. Go to page 25. If I roll higher, go to 36. It's not page. Oh, 77. I rolled higher than my current luck, so I'm headed to 36. Not page 36, just entry 36. 36 right here. Wait, what? Yeah, if I rolled higher, which I did, go to 36. Sure, she says. Guy on the second floor was a super soaker on anybody playing Grime with their car windows open. Oh, the guy on the second floor uses a super soaker on anybody playing Grime with their car windows open. Passing beards get physical about sourdough recipe. Old geezer walks a chihuahua that feels threatened by railings and footwear. I see all kinds of life here. You thank her for her diligence and cross the road. Go to 107. Let me get rid of some of these papers. I said I was in the process of cleaning, not that I am actually cleaned up. No, I thought it was 60. Well, I figured grime had to be was that certain type of music. grime is a British genre of music. I think we're going to have all kinds of British slang and terminology in this. So wait a minute. 36. I can't went to the right place, right? Yeah, 107. Okay, 107 right here. Now I got sand on my desk because of those bases. Okay, the Victorian. What? How did I get ink all over my fingers? At least I think that's what that one means. That's how I took it. I thought it was. Did I screw that up? I think it said 50. Yeah, I was supposed to add my luck to 50. Okay. The Victorian terrace carries a certain dignity as it faces off against the new buildings across the road. Its sash windows and ironwork look recently painted. The disturbance you are here to investigate came from the half basement below. You study the exterior. There are no external signs of a struggle. The door is crammed in below the steps to the main entrance, a familiar construction in this area. That door was probably the tradesman's entrance before the house was divided into flats. The door has no bell, but it does have a large brass knocker mottled with verdigris. Verdigris. You lift it and knock. Good morning, Andrew. Oh, the bright bluish green excrustation or patina formed on copper or brass. Okay, so this means that we're looking at a copper patina. We're going to learn all kinds of new words here. You lift and knock. Go to 3. You hear the scuff of feet behind the door. Then the door opens and a little old woman sticks her head around the door jamb. Yes, can I help you? You ask if she is Mrs. Eugene Fellerman. Yes, her eyes narrow. Are you with the 2 boys from earlier? You are sure, Miss Fellerman, you have come alone. She opens the door and steps out, blinking. As she steps up and scans the street, you notice the faded purple of a bruise on her left cheek. If you ask her directly about the bruise, go to 14. To wait for her to return to the door, go to 20. To take the opportunity to look inside the house, go to 31. To ask about the 2 boys, go to 35. To insist on coming in to talk, go to 46. I kind of feel like I should ask about those 2 boys. I don't feel like asking her directly about the bruise. Yeah, from verd being green. Makes sense. Okay, so let's ask her about the 2 boys. Go to 35. We'll try to gain her trust slowly. You ask about the 2 boys Mrs. Fellerman referred to. She gives the street one last look and then returns to the doorway. Toe rags, she says. Claimed I owed them money. I've never seen them before in my life. If they come back, I'll give them something they won't like. Door-to-door scams are still popular in the area, particularly those that target the elderly, but this particular lady does not seem taken in by them. Look at the characteristics on your character sheet. Where'd my character sheet go? Well, What do I do with my character sheet? I guess when I was cleaning up, I set it someplace. Hey, Andrew. Wait a second. What does it say? So look at the character sheet. Look at the characteristics on your character sheet. You have intelligence of 80. Write that down in the first space beside the characteristics name. When you make an intelligence roll, you will attempt to roll equal to 80 or lower. In the second space beside the characteristic name, write down half of that value. In this case, write down 40. When you make a hard int roll, you will attempt to roll 40 or lower. Didn't I have luck of 48? How ridiculous. Okay, so I have an intelligence score of 80 or 40 when I'm trying to make a hard roll. Okay, to ask about the bruise on Miss Fellman's cheek, go to 50. To wait patiently for her to invite you in, go to 61. To look for anything that might facilitate illicit entry, go to 71. To insist on looking inside the house, go to 82. Let's still look for anything that might facilitate illegal entry. Is it between the pages of the book? That's a... Yes, it is. I never would have found that. Intelligence. Okay, so let's find anything. Thank you, Last Phoenix. So, look, 71. There's a hook on the wall behind Mrs. Fellman, upon which hangs a ring with 2 Yale keys. The letterbox has no bruises. It has no brushes. The letterbox has no brushes. An enterprising burglar with a long hooked stick and a steady hand might enter with minimal force, or a magically skilled investigator looking for conventional solution. She follows your gaze with her shoulder down to the back of the door. What? She asks. You have dexterity of 60. Write that, and it's half value 30 besides your dexterity score. All right, so I've got dex 60, 30. Your skills also use half values for hard skill rolls. Fill those in now. So if you have your read person skill has 60%, so athletics 15, drive 15, navigate 15, observe 30, read person 30, research 15, social 30, stealth 30, law 30, magic 30, firearms and fighting 15. Go to 88. I've got a pot on the stove, Mrs. Fellman says. You tell her that everybody is concerned about her safety. That's nice, she says. But it's my patients that you should be worried about. That other copper looked all over the house, and she found nothing. Haven't you got anything better to do than to harass this an old age pensioner? You adopt a particularly patient tone while explaining you're here to help. I'm sick of your help, she says. Have you got a warrant or council notice or something? You admit that you do not. Then you can piss off, she says, and closes the door in your face. Allocate the following numbers to your remaining 3 characteristics. 50, 50, 40, whatever those are. Like power, 50, 50, 40, just in case. Movement rate is 8. Go to 102. You return to the Ford Escort and settle behind the wheel to consider your options. After a minute, you unfold the report for another look. The Camden response team passed the details on to the local neighborhood safety team, which is headed by Sergeant Sutherland. You put in a call to the local station and get her on the phone. Once you get past the initial wariness that most police officers have for agents of the folly, she relaxes and opens up. I talked to the neighbors, confirmed their stories, made a follow-up visit to Mrs. Fellman, and found precisely nothing. And since all I had on that night was leftover pasta bake, I parked my own car outside and waited until I heard the argument for myself. The sergeant notes specifically hearing 2 voices, but when Sutherland talked herself inside the flat, Miss Fellman was alone. That's right, she says, and I'll tell you, something was off about that flat. Members of the general public are regularly unsettled by inconsequential tosh. but Sergeant Sutherland's 30 years of experience in policing are a good barometer for supernatural activity, as you are likely to find. You're kind of weird bollocks, she says. Before you can take any further action on this case, such as an unauthorized entry into Mrs. Felleman's flat, you will need to be sure that there is indeed some weird bollocks going on. Go to 5. Let's see. I'm psychic too, the last Phoenix says. All right, so what we're supposed to go to 5. You pull out of your precious parking space and turn south toward Russell Square, taking Camden Street to avoid the shuffling mass of... This is much more robust than the Pathfinder solo adventures. So this is actually one thing that Chaosium has going for it, is even though we really liked the Pathfinder starter boxes, they've got all kinds of great stuff in them. The starting adventures in them, the single player adventures in them, were kind of weak. This one does have a whole lot more narrative in it. So you pull out your precious cargo space and turn south toward Russell Square, taking Camden Street to avoid the shuffling mass of tourists attracted to the lock by overpriced hummus wraps, Doc Martens, and spicy noodles. So what you pull out of your precious parking space and turn south toward Russell Square, taking Camden Street to avoid the shuffling mass of tourists attracted to the lock by overpriced hummus wraps, Doc Martens, and spicy noodles. On the edge of Summerstown, you see a local butcher and pop out of the car for a necessary purchase. The Folly occupies a Georgian terrace on the south side of Russell Square, a location it shares with the Council of British International Schools, the London Mathematical Society, and a bird-shit-covered statue of the 5th Duke of Bedford. You pull into the garage around the back. DC Grant's Ford Focus ST, or Asbo, is not there. A bad sign, but perhaps his dog Toby is still in residence. Inside the Folly, Toby's basket is empty. A familiar ink-skirted figure slides past, her gaze moving across you like a dust on the long-neglected shelf. This is the housekeeper, Molly. You work up some courage to ask her if you can borrow the Folly's famed ghost-hunting dog. She steps and tilts her head to the side, the black almond-shaped eyes beneath her mob cap skewering you where you stand. After an awkward silence, you repeat the request, holding up your sausages. For a moment, the meaty packet sits in your hand like a terrible, inadvertent insult. Then Molly straightens her head and glides to the door. She points to the far corner of the yard in a manner reminiscent of Donald Sutherland at the end of the invasion of the Body Snatchers. Go to 11. From the corner of the yard behind the bins comes the sound of a bestial rage and mortal combat. Something in the shadows tears through plastic and cardboard, snarling through its teeth. It does not sound much like Toby the ghost-hunting dog, which has a general amiable personality with a distinct affinity for anybody providing food. To sneak up on the bins and look behind them, go to 15. To continue surveillance for a distance, go to 24. Let's go ahead and sneak up to the bins and look behind them. Go to 15. Let's see. They weave a lot of description in there. Andrew says, that Body Snatchers reference immediately paints a picture for me. Okay, so we're going over here to 15. The volume of the snarling and rending increases as you pad across the yard and press yourself against the wall to look behind the bins. Abruptly, the noise stops. Make a stealth roll. Okay, so my stealth roll is 60. Anytime you make a skill or charisma or characteristic roll, you may spend luck to improve that roll. So if you need 30 but rolled a 39, you can choose to spend 9 luck points to improve the roll and succeed. Of course, later in the adventure, you may wish you had all of your luck points. If you do spend luck, don't forget to update your current character value on your character sheet. If you succeed at the stealth roll, go to 29. If you fail, go to 40. All right, let's try stealth. So I am going for a 60. 14, I got it. So we have succeeded at the stealth roll, going to 29. You get a good look into the shadowy space behind the bins. It's a dark nest feathered with shredded packaging, and at its heart lurks a Yorkshire Terrier. This is not Toby. This is some manner of grubby devil dog, with face markings not unlike the kind of cartoon masked burglars who used to walk around with huge sacks reading swag. The dog notices you and emerges from its lair, growling deep in its throat. Go to 77. As you confront the terrier, you experience 3 rapid insights. First, a name tag glints beneath the grimy leather of its collar. Second, a dog that is drawn to the folly probably has some innate magic sensitivity. Third, it has noticed your packet of artisanal sausages, and its eyes are fixed on the gleaming plastic wrap. You pull open the packet and extract a sausage for the hungry dog. You could make an animal handling roll to subdue the Yorkshire Terrier, but you do not possess this expert skill. You may instead try your luck by spending 10 luck points in an attempt at animal handling roll, but this will be a hard roll on your intelligence, int, or power, whichever is higher. Well, that would be 40 for int. If you succeed, you can choose to spend a further 10 points of luck to permanently acquire the animal handling skill. If you want to try your luck, go to 85. If you prefer not to spend your luck in this situation, go to 98. What do you think? It's a 40. It's a 40 roll. That's just pretty good based on my intelligence. So I tell you what, let's try it. Might as well try to do something here. Whoa, 99. Not gonna happen. Not gonna happen. Luck wasted for nothing. So, luck wasted. If you want to try your luck, go to 85. You display the sausage and hold up a finger to indicate the terrier should behave. Your finger looks uncomfortably like a second sausage. Subtract 10 points from your current luck. You will use your intelligence or power characteristic, whichever is higher, to attempt animal handling, though you don't possess this expert skill. Try your luck by making a hard roll against intelligence or power. As usual, you may spend additional luck to improve the roll. I failed the roll in a big way, so that's 98. The terrier's response is swift and overwhelming. As it charges, you whip the sausage out of reach, but it's not aiming for your paltry single sausage. Its jaws clamp around the entire bag of sausages, and its weight drags you off balance. You stumble, and your head crashes against the wall. As you thump to the ground, the bag gives way, and the artisan sausages spill across the yard. After 30 seconds of deep breathing and cold personal reflection to a soundtrack of tearing plastic and meaty guzzling, you sit up. Most of the sausages are gone. The dog, however, is calmer. It sniffs and watches you mop blood from your temple. You are hurt, in pain, but able to carry on. Mark that you are hurt on your character sheet. All right, that did not go well. I am hurt. Yes, the dog bit my sausage. I guess not for this adventure. Okay, it says you are hurt. Mark that you are hurt on your character sheet. Your performance is not affected yet, but subsequent injuries could change that. You will recover, erasing a mark for hurt when you leave the folly and move to the next scene in this story. Go to 106. The dog does not resist you as you crouch down and lift the brass tag on its collar. The tag is shaped like a cartoon bone and engraved with tight capital letters reading Ernie. Satiated on sausages, Ernie seems more curious than aggressive. You look up at the couch house window. Molly is unmoved by your struggle. She makes a flittering hand gesture towards the gate to the street. Nobody around Russell Square appears to be looking for a lost dog. You can attempt to locate Ernie's owners once he has performed a quick service on the Foley's behalf. In the back of the Escort, you find a beach towel and spread it over the back seat. Ernie is content to hop inside, spraying flakes of grime as he goes. You borrow Toby's spare lead and get back into the car. Go to 2. The rush hour traffic begins to break as you chauffeur Ernie across the Euston Road and back north. Somewhere near Mornington Crescent, he starts snoring. You stop around the corner from the Prince of Wales Road to pick up supplies. On your third circuit, a parking space opens in front of Mrs. Felleman's flat, and you cut up an aggrieved woman in the Chelsea tractor to secure the spot. It's 7 o'clock. Around 8, Ernie stirs. You watch him closely, but the way he whines and paws the door suggests no magic is involved. He lets you attach the lead and take him down a cul-de-sac for a comfort break. You capture the results in a latex glove and dispose of them lawfully. Ernie is willing to be returned to the car, which has remarkably not been ticketed during your 3-minute absence. He shows no particular interest in Mrs. Felleman's flat and nods off again. You settle in to continue the stakeout. Characters recover over time. If you are hurt, you now return to normal. Update the character sheet by erasing hurt mark. All right, so I'm not hurt anymore. Go to 7. A little after 9 o'clock, and the parking warden emerges from the darkness, light from the street lamps glinting on her high-vis jacket. She takes a momentary interest in the Escort, but seeing you behind the wheel, she rolls her eyes and moves on. Ernie growls from the back seat. Although resentment of traffic wardens could be his natural inclination, you turn around to calm your borrowed dog. He is not reacting to the traffic warden. His ears are forward, his tail straight back. He stares at the building, his attention completely focused on the basement flat, and barks twice. This is as good a confirmation of supernatural activity as you will get, and judging from the witness reports, indicates the presence of a ghost. You slip out of the Escort and shut Ernie inside. From the pavement, you can hear an argument, a raised voice, Mrs. Felleman's voice, and then a response, a younger, deeper male voice. It's followed by the crash of breaking crockery. To knock firmly on the door, go to 13. To slip around the back, go to 33. To draw Miss Felleman's out by tapping on the window and hiding, go to 70. Oh, this is interesting. PH says, the dog bit your sausage and you're still able to keep going. This is high fantasy. I'll tell you what, let's do a poll. Start a poll. So I've got 3 options here. To knock firmly on the door, what do I do? Knock firmly. What's the other option? Slip around back. Or draw Miss Felleman out. It's an awfully grimy dog, though. Who cares about the owner? The Last Phoenix says. Confiscate the dog yourself. Do I personally feel like I've had enough choices so far? It seems like that's the real limit on these solo jobs. Do I personally feel like... Well, I don't have a whole lot of experience with them. I mean, it's been a long time since I've done just a basic choose your own adventure anyway. I said this one feels much better than the Pathfinder one. Now, the Pathfinder one is very short. The Pathfinder ones have been very short and sweet. basically getting you into combat here. But this one isn't so much about combat, I don't suppose. I guess I would have liked a few more. Slip around back. Slip around back. She wasn't too friendly to have you in the first place. People seem to be going slip around back. Oh, yeah. So lots of people are saying that. Okay, end poll. Slip to the back, knock firmly, draw Miss Fellerman out. 11 votes. 81% were to slip to the back. Okay, let's do that then. Okay. So to slip around back, go to 33. Accessing the rear of Mrs. Fellerman's flat is not straightforward. It is one in a row of private gardens protected by a brick wall, a serious knot of shrubbery, and a locked wooden gate stained a pleasing cherry red. You could deal with a lock, but the simplest thing to do might be to go over the wall. You wait for the street to clear of passers-by. A mother with a young child is the last straggler. As she bends to adjust something in her buggy, you swing your leg up and brace yourself on the wall. Make an athletics roll. Uh-oh. Remember, you achieve a regular success if you roll equal to the skill value or less, and you achieve a hard success if you roll equal to or half of the value or less. So what is my athletics here? I have not been too successful yet. Athletics, okay, 30-15. $71. I fail again. See, didn't we talk about failing a lot? Hey, S. Becker. Good morning. Good morning, S. Becker. I'm still got to get that Yeti. Get us a Yeti emoji. If I get caught, you could say the dog told you to do that. Didn't I leave the dog in the car? I've got to get the Yeti emoji for us. Okay, so I failed the roll, so I go to 49. I am not very competent at this. 49. With a brave effort, you get up to the wall, but you misjudge the height of the gate. Your supporting foot snags on a branch and you tumble, landing on your back on the pavement. A teenage boy in a Totem Hotspur strip jersey rounds the corner, dribbling a football. Okay, so I guess a teenage boy in a Totem Hotspur strip, so a strip must be a jersey, rounds the corner, dribbling a football, which means a soccer ball. Seeing you sprawled there, he pauses. He bounces his ball off the gate and dodges around your head, beating an imaginary defender. You get to your feet. A neighbor appears from the kitchen window to see what all the noise was about. If you have not already tried it, you may return to the front door and knock firmly, going to 13. Otherwise, you must make a forced entry. Go to 104. Well, I botched that. Failing seems like it would be common in the COC mechanics. Most of your skills start out at less than 50%. Yeah, so I only had, and the ones that are above that are only 60. Law, magic, stealth, and social. Well, and observation were 60. So a little bit better than a coin flip. And didn't we say that feels like a coin flip? Well, oh, look. Here's a picture right here of confronting the dog in the back. So that's how I picked up the terrier. Well, I tell you what, let's ask. I know you guys are going to say forced entry, right? I am. I'm much more of an intellectual than I am an athlete. So do I forced entry? Yes or no? If you vote no, I got to go to the front door. Probably, and I can try that and probably fail it. Let's see. Oh, interesting. We got the votes out. No, Mike says bloodied yourself twice so far. Better knock. Let's see. I'll let a few more votes come in. Okay, poll. Let's see. How many votes have we got here? 9 votes. No. Forced entry. No wins out. Okay, just barely. So we're going to try going to the front door and knocking firmly for 13. 13. You descend the iron stairs. As you hear another plate shatter, you rap on the door. Immediately, all noises cease from inside. Nothing moves for 30 seconds. You lift up the letterbox and yell to Mrs. Felloman that you know she's in there and you don't intend to leave. After a prolonged pause, you hear the scruff of reluctant feet, and the door opens once more. Anger and guilt battle on Mrs. Felloman's face. What do you want this time? She asks. If you're a police officer, go to 18. I am a police officer, we said, so I'm going to 18. You tell Mrs. Felloman that you overheard an argument and a violent exchange, and you intend to enter her residence to assess the situation. No, she snaps. Bugger off. You inform her that you have a reason to believe she is consorting with a spirit in contravention of the Act Against Conjuration, Witchcraft, and Dealing with Evil and Wicked Spirits 1604. Hopefully, Ms. Felloman is not up to date on the legislation, as the act was superseded in 1736. Her shoulders slump. You'd better come in, she says. Go to 10. I guess that's 1604. So the Act Against Conjuration, Witchcraft, and Dealing with Evil and Wicked Spirits of 1604, as superseded in 1736. You'd better come in, she says, and she goes to 10. Mrs. Felloman heads to the kitchen. You take a moment to survey the flat. Ignoring a chair with its legs broken and the fragments of crockery strewn across the floor, you can see the Victorian origin of the building. This flat was previously the servants' quarters, as well as the kitchen and coal bunker. Everything is crammed into a tight space with a low ceiling. The fireplace is bricked up. You have a moment to consider how to handle the ghost in this place. A magical intervention may be required. Spells in the Rivers of London RPG are cast by forming shapes in the mind, forma. The first order spells use only a single forma. DCI, Nightingale, and Foley's resident master of magic has taught you Lux, which can be used to master the spell Werelight. You have not practiced enough to learn a second order spell combining 2 forma, but you have learned a second forma and can use it for another first order spell. If you decide to learn Impello, which moves an object, go to 21. If you decide to learn Sendari, which holds an object in place, go to 30. Let's learn Impello. 21. After a long night's attempt to push over empty cans. 21? That's where I'm supposed to go? If you decided to learn Impello. Yeah, okay. Go to 21. After long nights attempting to push over empty cans of fizzy drinks from a distance, you progress to long nights successfully pushing over full cans of fizzy drink from a distance. Molly was not pleased about the sticky floor, but you can achieve an effective cast of Impello every time, particularly if you are thirsty. Now on your character sheet, note on your character sheet that you have Werelight, so these are spells. S. Becker says, I only picked forced entry because I guarantee it'll end badly. That's what I figured people would have actually gone for. Can you take a spike and Impello your enemies with it? I forget. Maybe. So on your character sheet, you now have Werelight. Spells Werelight. The Werelight can draw out ghosts. I remember that when we went through and were looking at spells and reading spells the first time. Werelight and Impello are mastered spells. You do this by marking the circle next to the spell's name. You begin with a number of magic points equal to 1/5 of your power. So 40 right here. So if you have a power of 70, you begin with 14. So 48. So I've got 8. 8 times 5 would be 40. Each spell you master, so this is magic points. Each spell you master adds an additional magic point, so 2 magic points for mastering Wear Light and Impello. Okay, so therefore I have 10. Okay, note down your total starting and current magic points in the spaces provided. For the moment, these numbers are both the same, but this will change as your adventure continues. So I have 10, 10. To cast a spell, you must spend magic points. It is exceptionally dangerous to spend more magic than you have. Magic points regenerate on their own when you move from scene to scene. Go to page 41. Not page, but entry 41. Mrs. Felleman emerges from the kitchen holding a white enameled camping mug and the kind of plastic cup that comes from the top of a thermos flask. You sit down at the table. China crunches beneath your feet. Sorry, I'm out of real cups, she says. Her teapot has somehow survived. As the tea brews, she offers you a custard cream. You take one and ask about the ghost. He's my husband, she says, the edge of her mouth curling. Victor. He first showed up 3 months ago, always at night. The same as he ever was, quieter, maybe. You lead the conversation slowly to the bruise on her cheek. She touches it as if she had forgotten it was there. We always used to row, you know. Some people you just row with. I suppose even him being passed on couldn't change that. He made me so cross. She looked sheepish. I forgot he was a ghost. I ran right through him, hit the wall, and fell over. You know how it is. You grab the nearest thing. But that was the cupboard. It fell over. And then I had the old Bill knocking at my door. Your custard cream is finished. You ask Miss Felleman to summon her husband for you. You're joking, she says. He comes and goes when he wants. Always did. You push back your chair, stand up, and open your palm. You need a wear light to draw out a ghost. I told you. That's what I thought. You need a wear light to draw out the ghost. As there is no time pressure on you to cast the wear light spell, there is no need to make a magic roll to see if you are successful. Spend 1 magic point and write your new magic point total in the space provided on your character sheet. Go to page 51. So I now have 9 magic points. Not page, but entry 51. A small bright sphere appears in your hand, the size of a golf ball. From experience, you know its energy is irresistible to ghosts. You place the wear light on the table. Miss Felleman stares at it wide-eyed. What's that? She asks. Before you can answer, the ball of light darkens to a dim crimson. A ghost is feeding on its energy. You look around. A man stands beside the side wall, looking at you with apparent amazement. He is young, early 20s, wearing a rather nice suit. It looks like he could feature on the Wikipedia page which defines the mod subculture. You raised an eyebrow at Mrs. Felleman. What? She says. He looks just as he did when I met him. You look Ghost Victor over from head to toe. Your gaze stops on his shoes. They're old, worn, brown, too big for his feet, clumpy. No self-respecting mod would wear those shoes. To ask the ghost about Miss Felleman, go to 63. To ask the ghost why he is here, go to 93. To shut down the wear light, go to 101. No, we're going to ask the ghost why he's here. Go to 93. The man's eyes flicker to the wear light and then to Mrs. Felleman. He doesn't answer. You have fed him enough magic. Time to wind this up. Go to 101. You ask the ghost what his mother's name was. He frowns and hesitates. What do you want to know for? I guess here is a picture of us, I suppose, summoning the ghost. There are so many Britishisms here. What is mod subculture? There was a whole section in this book on like getting to know British culture. Let's find out what that is. British mod culture. Mod subculture. Mod is from the word modernist, is a subculture that began in London and spread throughout Great Britain and elsewhere, eventually influencing fashions and trends in other countries, and continues today on a smaller scale. Focused on music and fashion. Turn this off. Focused on music and fashion, the subculture has its roots in a small group of stylish London-based young men in the late 50s who were termed modernist because they listened to modern jazz. Okay, so this is like something that started in the 50s and listening to jazz. Mods is mid to late 70s. Oh. Mods versus rockers. There are a lot of Britishisms here. Well, but I guess that gives, if you know it, it gives you the feel of London. Because this did talk about understanding London's culture and stuff like that, even in this book. It gave you that section. Let's see. Okay. So we ask the ghost what his mother's name is. He frowns and hesitates. What do you want to know for? He says. The hesitation tells you enough. You extinguish the wear light, and Victor instantly fades to transparency. A whisper tickles the air. Martha. Bring him back, Mrs. Felleman says. You ask if if Victor's mother's name was Martha. No, she looks sour, but he's dead. You're bound to forget. The back window shatters. Go to 6. A masonry hammer pushes the glass inwards. Spiky fragments fall to the floor among the crockery. The heavy metal head runs around the frame, clearing the remaining spikes before its wielder steps through. He is a square and yobbish 20-something with a bent nose, tattooed knuckles, and cold eyes. I told you there'd be consequences, Jenny. You can't just borrow money and not pay it back. Knuckles notices the crockery on the floor. Struth, some other mob got here before us. That's a question. Struth, some other mob got here before us? A second man steps through the window with a flat cap, a bad goatee, and a missing incisor. He points at you. Who's this? A witness, Knuckles says. He hefts the hammer and steps towards you. His body language says he's looking for a chance to use it. Beat it, he snarls. If you're a police officer, you may identify yourself, go to 19. Otherwise, you may cast a spell if you know one. To cast Impello, go to 26. To cast Sindari, go to 69. To tackle your attacker physically, go to 4. I guess we could cast Impello and see if I can throw something at him. He did break into the house. Let's cast the spell. Let's go 26. Physically tackling him doesn't seem like something I can do with the way that I'm rolling. Time to Impello them back out the door. All right, so Impello, 26. You concentrate on pushing Knuckles in the chest. Impello. Spend 1 magic point. So now I have 8 magic. Make a magic skill roll. Okay, well, fortunately, I do have a 60 in magic. Since you have mastered Impello, you may have a bonus die. This means you roll your 10s die twice and take the best results. So if you roll a 92 and 22, you will use the 22. All right, so I got to roll 60 or less. 11. Okay, that one I succeeded easily, so I guess I'm magically inclined. If I succeed, go to 32. Stray says, throw the woman at him. Maybe, but I think I'm just trying to push him backwards. That's what it sounded like. So what did I say? 20? Did it say go to 26? Oh, if I succeed, go to 32. Knuckles opens his eyes wide in surprise as he is shoved by an invisible hand. The hammer drops from his grasp. Make a power roll. If you succeed, go to 37. If I fail, go to 54. So power, so this would be power down here. That's the last one. So it's only 40. 49. Hey, I could use 9 points of luck. Let's use 9 points of luck to succeed on that. So so it would have 39 luck points left. I hope I don't need them later. 39. But let's go ahead and succeed. If you succeed, go to 37. Knuckles flies backwards through the air. His leg snags on an armchair as he flails, crashing into the ground head first. He stops moving. The hammer bumps on the carpet in front of you. You turn to the second assailant. Your successful power roll increased the spell's effect. Go to 99. You turn to see Miss Felloman swing a cricket bat into the face of the second invader. He drops like wet laundry. She studies him for a moment before delivering a single, considered kick to his groin. "Get out of it," she says. "You'll get your money when I've got it." He stumbles to the rear window and topples out into the night. You hear creaks and moans as he retraces his path through the stranger's gardens. Mrs. Felloman looks up at you. "My fault," she says. "I get a little frisky sometimes on the geegees. I'm none too particular who I take a loan from. You'll have to decide what to do with Knuckles, who is currently groaning on the carpet, but that can wait for later. Go to 110. Mrs. Felloman is still holding a cricket bat splattered with fresh blood. Whoa. Okay, so Mrs. Felloman is holding a cricket bat splattered with fresh blood. She clicks her tongue and runs the bat's wooden surface under the cold tap. While she is distracted, you turn your attention back to the domestic ghost. Something bothers you about the wall where he appeared. You've been in flats built on the same plan, and there's a pantry alcove to the left of the bricked-up fireplace. "What about my husband?" Miss Felloman asks. Still eyeing the wall, you explain that you were briefed about her family history, and her husband left her 30 years ago. He is currently living in Braston, Wales, with a woman named Blodwin. "I knew that." She dries the cricket bat with the dish towel. I just assumed he'd died recently, got over that Welsh bent, and come back where he belongs. You report that as of this morning, he was alive and well. "Pity," she says. Go to 111. That's probably, I wonder, I wonder about that. This did say that it was based on one of the stories, right? That could have been what the author was thinking. 111. "So who have I been talking to?" Mrs. Felloman asks. As you advise her, the ghost probably took the form of her husband to suit her. You knock on the wall in front of the missing alcove. Your third knock produces a hollow thud. You cast your eyes around the room and spot Knuckles' discarded masonry hammer. You get a solid two-handed grip and inform Miss Felloman that you're about to make a mess. "Wait a minute," she says. You swing the hammer. The iron head goes through on the first blow. "He did look like my Victor. How would you know?" You knock out the loose plaster around the edges of the hole and use your phone as a torch to peer inside. There's a strong flash of carbolic soap and fish guts, the smell of sweat, and a blast of cold that numbs your finger. Vestigia. Vestigia. Vestigia is the remnants of magic. I remember that. So that's probably somebody casting a spell. The torch beam casts shadows around a hollow that you quickly recognize as an eye socket of a skull. Squinting, you see what might be a pile of other bones beneath it, the rest of the skeleton. What can you see? You look at Mrs. Felloman. Perhaps the body was some mistreated domestic worker from the late 19th century. Then again, Eugene Felloman has quite a temper. Perhaps there was somebody after her beloved Victor who never made it out of this flat. 9 times out of 10, when the bones are removed, the ghost goes with them. You can always borrow Ernie again and take a stroll along Prince of Wales Road just to check. For now, though, you have a phone call to make. What happens afterwards will not be your problem. Well done. You've completed your first case file. Welcome to Rivers of London, the role-playing game. The end. S. Becker says frisky on the GGs. I have no idea what that means. What meaning of frisky on the GGs? In British slang, what are the GGs? In British slang, the GGs is a term used to refer to horses, particularly those used in racing. It's a playful and informal way to refer to these animals. British slang, frisky. She was betting on horses? She borrowed money from those guys in order to a beautiful horse, but a bit too frisky for an experienced rider, liking to play and full of activity. So she likes to bet on horses, and she borrowed money from those guys who broke into her house. I guess so. Well, that was fun. So I guess we discovered what the source of that ghost was. So that is the Rivers of London role-playing game. Yeah, that was fun. That was fun. So I guess there are other things that could be done and go through it again with different, making different choices, or being a social worker or a medic or something like that was different. So could have done that. All right. Hey, let me just, I'll check to see. Let me see if I had anything delivered while I've been sitting here. No, I do have. No, see, this says packages arrive. No, it does say a package is arriving today, but this is from Lightning Source. I think I've got some type of Kickstarter coming in. I think that's what that is. But that's not until this afternoon. So, all right. At least according to the email here. All right. Well, the real friends of the vocab. Well, we do that a lot here on this show, right? Learning pronunciation and vocabulary. Mike Hansford says, "I like how they set that up. A lot to think about if you're playing a choose your own adventure type of game." Yeah, I think that was pretty reasonable. Mike says an unboxing tomorrow. Could be. I've got it might be a book. It could be what's coming is, did anybody else back this? And this was a long time ago. I backed this like storytelling miniature game. Let me see. It may not be. I don't know what this is, but just Lightning Source. Of course, it doesn't actually say. But there was some type of thing I backed a long time ago that was supposed to be like a miniature game, like a skirmish game, but was supposed to be storytelling, or like be able to tell your own story with it or something. Does that ring a bell for anybody? Here, let me see if I can see it, find it. Lasting Tales. That was it. But I wonder if that's what's actually coming. Lasting Tales, a cooperative, that's what it was. A cooperative tabletop miniature game by Mark Latham featuring a new line of fantasy miniatures. I think I just got the rules. I think that's what's coming. No, this says created by Blacklist Games. Actually, I have no idea what's coming. I have no idea. Please do like the stream. But on the other hand, I hope that my books for Goodnight Sword show up today. And if so, then I'm going to start signing books so that I can get those out to everybody. So hopefully both of those will be coming. All right. Please do like the stream. Everybody, please go be creative, be productive. And until I see you tomorrow, grind on. Later.